you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Michelle, and if you're new here, hi, welcome. In today's video, I want to talk about films. Films adapted from books. Whether if you read these books or not, these are some of my favorite. So yeah, who knows, maybe you guys feel the same way about these adaptations. And yeah, let's get started. I want to start out with a cult classic in my eyes, and that is Pride and Prejudice. I'm sure even if you're not a Jane Austen fan, you must have heard of Pride and Prejudice. There are so many films and series that has been adapted from this book over the years. I have read the book myself, and I think it's very beautifully written. Something that I love about Austen's writing is that you will get transported to when the story is set, and you can't help but really understand where these characters are coming from. Liz, I find a lot of things that she and I could have in common. One of them is we both are very stubborn. I always find that her characters are very deeply rooted and human. They all have a story to say, and they're not just there for the sake of being there. They have a purpose, they have backstories, they've got reasons for the actions that they took, and these complex elements are what in my eyes made her books, all her books, so everlasting and timeless. So if you are new and you wish to delve into the classic genre, I highly suggest Jane Austen, whichever it is. Mansfield Park, Emma. Oh, Emma is so good. I'm gonna talk about Emma in a little bit. There's a plethora of Jane Austen books that you can choose from. I would say the film is a great representative of the book because they didn't erase anything that is important, and they didn't over exaggerate anything that was the main plot. At least the 2005 version that I love so very much. I have to say that the Bennett family, why did I say Bennett, are loud, and I like how the conversations overlap with one another, so you are getting that home feel, because real homes, nobody talks waiting for the other person to be finished. Everybody talks all at the same time. And I like that you are introduced to this family. They are not perfect, they are a work in progress. Can't help but love them. I highly recommend Pride and Prejudice. Next is Little Women. And the films, there are 3 adaptations that I am aware of, released in 1949, 1994, and 2019. The book itself was published in 1869, and that's a long time ago as well. So I have never seen the 1949 rendition, but I have seen 1994 and 2019's versions. Both pretty much the same thing, it's just different actors and different cinematography and better camera quality, you know what I mean? Okay, what do I love about the story? I love that it's family-centered. I love that we are following the life story of 4 individuals and their progression as they mature to be adults. And I love that they showed ups and downs of everything that this family was put through, financially, emotionally, all the things that make sisters, you know, their fights, their overlapping conversations with one another, jealousy, or just so many things. Friendship, Joe and Laurie's friendship. I love seeing Christian Bale's version of Laurie and Timothée Chalamet's. They both bring sort of like the same vibe, and I love that they were so perfectly casted for that role, because chef's kisses. That's what I love about the story in the book version and the movies. Well, obviously it's the adaptation version, so of course they can't be that different. Let's see, the book is not very difficult to read. There are also a variety of beautiful covers of this book. The one that I've got is, let me just pull it up for a second. This is my copy. It's very nice. It's kind of like, it has the "This Belong To" page, and I love that for some reason. Kind of makes it feel like it's a book from the library, but I'm not gonna write anything on it because that's gonna ruin. Okay, so will I recommend you to watch the film before reading the book? Absolutely. I think you can pretty much get the idea. They did not stray away too far from the books. From the book, there's only one book, Michelle. 5 out of 5 for the movie and 5 out of 5 for the book. Next, we have Psycho, which the film was released in 1960 and the book written by Robert Bloch in 1959. I actually had to do a little bit of research on this one because apparently there's a version of this book called American Psycho that was written by Bret Easton Ellis. I only first-handedly knew about this story because I watched the series Bates Motel, which came out 2013, and it is basically a prequel to Norman Bates' story of what led him to be the notorious serial killer that he is very known to be. If you like psychological thrillers, you are most welcome to try that show out. It's very good. But we're not here to talk about the series. That was how I knew about this book. The film, oh god, I think I'm good to watching it just once because it is so creepy and it sort of scared the bejesus out of me. I think also the fact that I watched it at night alone, I'm kind of scared of being alone in the dark in a big space. And thanks to this book. So great job, Robert. You implanted this new fear inside of me. Another one of my favorites, The Princess Bride. The film came out 1987 and the book came out 1973. So the reason why I love this story so much is because it's so comical. The dialogues between characters are just so well written, and I think it's because also the portrayal of these characters by these actors are just so well done. It's a comic relief, and if you want to laugh a little, you can go watch it, and it's also not a very long film, so that's also a good plus. Another Jane Austen book that I love, and I am so happy that I finally got a physical copy of, which I have read finally, is Emma. The film adaptations are from 1996 and 2020. This is like something I wished I had known earlier on. Jane Austen does such great justice to complex characters. This being a very good example. The main character, we don't like her very much. She's that bully you don't really want to have around because she's just brutally honest, if that's the nicest way to put it. And in a way, she's made her likable throughout the story, and that you could see why she's like that. There's also a sense of innocence in her, and how naive she is, and her perspective towards the world is just very unopened yet, and then a lot of things happen to her, and so she has no choice but to open those eyes. And I like that. It's a self-discovery sort of theme, which I like. Quite a common thing to see these days in film and books. Anya Taylor-Joy, I think she's such a great actress, and her portrayal of Emma is so spot on, so well done. Seeing her do what she did and bringing that little nuances that makes Emma Emma. Casting is so important because when you are dealing with classics and books that are already loved by so many people and you don't get the right person to do the job, it does upset the already existing fans of the book. So she did a great job, and she did me proud because Emma is hard to nail because she is, again, she doesn't start to be the very likable person. You grow to love her and you grow to accept that she is a kid and she is learning her way in the world. So give her a break and give her some time and she will impress you. Moving on to, I'm sure that anyone in any corner of the world would have heard of this franchise. If you haven't, there's no possible way. My brother doesn't watch films, and he knows what Harry Potter is, or maybe that's because I talk about it all the time. Maybe that's why. Have to admit, I did not read the books prior to the film. Philosopher's Stone then turned into Sorcerer's Stone. There was a reason for that and I forgot about it. But yeah, that film came out 2001 and the book came out 1997. I watched the film years later. I can't remember how old I was when I first watched it, but I remember watching Chamber of Secrets and being so scared of sewers and snakes because of the basilisk. I'm sure most kids are. Harry Potter has played such a big role in my upbringing because it introduced me to fantasy and storytelling and fiction in general. I thought that it was just like any other movie, and then after Googling and researching, it turns out that there's a whole community behind it called the Potterheads. And then there's like this whole thing where you can like find out which Hogwarts house you belong to. You can even like do a quiz on like what's your wand, what's your Patronus. There's, I believe in the official website, you can also even find out which Ilvermorny house you are if you were to go to that school. Like, it's a whole thing, and I didn't know about it until like early 2010s. Moving on to the next one, and that is Lord of the Rings. So the first film came out December 2001. The first book came out 1954. I have not read the books until now. Reasons of why I have not read the books: it's very hard to come by. The covers that I want, that is. They're very expensive, and I would need to save up a lot of my monthly salary to just get like what, a trilogy. And they're insanely thick, and so it's very intimidating to even bother. But then again, there are a lot of other thick books that I have read anyway. So maybe it's just an excuse for me to not get it yet. Okay, so I was introduced to this franchise very late in my years. I only was aware of The Hobbit, and then realized that The Hobbit is a prequel to The Lord of the Rings. And then I've never seen the films until about a year ago, and I question myself till this very day what took me so long, because it's so freaking good. It is like 2-3 hours long, but I mean, I have watched Harry Potter over and over again, so there is no excuse for me having been left out and missed on the bandwagon for this very long. I love everybody in it. I think the films were very well done, and I still question how the hell Orlando Bloom not age. Like, that man does not age. He is the same Legolas from 2001 to the Legolas we see in The Hobbit, which is like, what, 10 years later? Like, how is that possible? Like, what kind of youth fountain did he swim in every single morning? I wish I could say a lot more, but I have only seen the films and not read the books, so I don't think it would do it justice for a non-reader to say much about it yet. I should move on to the next one, which is Devil Wears Prada. And the movie came out 2006, the book in 2003. The film itself, I am not going to say that it's life-changing and that it's amazing, or that I would like watch it like a bajillion couple times, but it had something which actually sparked my interest in wanting to delve into the publishing world, because it made me realize just how much passion and love and dedication these people within that industry have for the art. It made me want to really pursue that career. And also Meryl Streep's performance, anything by Meryl Streep is amazing, and this is no exception. And so yeah, like, the film was alright. Will I watch it a bunch of times? Nope. But I think that it's a classic for a reason, and if you do love it, you have your reasons. I'm just putting it in the list because it is infamous for being like a classic go-to film for a lot of people. So we have Bridge to Terabithia, and the film came out 2007, and the book came out 1977. I did not know this until I started researching about these films and books to prep for this video. As if it can show on camera that I've done any preparation at all. The author of the book, Catherine Patterson, she wrote this book to help her son deal with loss and grief of his friend. And then this son turned out to be the guy that is responsible for the movie's screenplay. Mind-blowing. That, I cannot believe I just knew that. But yeah, that's a really cool story. I'm sure because of that, he has been able to implement a personal touch to the film that did make, like, this film was so heartfelt. There is no way that you cannot shed a tear from watching this film. There aren't a lot of films that has made me very emotionally, actually there are a lot of films that has made me very emotionally attached to the characters. I remember watching this film for the first time in elementary school, and I had like a huge crush on Josh Hutcherson, so that's also another biased reason to why I wanted to watch the film. And I love the relationship between him his character and his sister. I like that the relationship was very natural and very real, and I like that the growth of the friendship between him and Leslie is also very natural. It didn't feel made up in the film. It felt very organic. I have not read the book, unfortunately, so I cannot compare it to the written version, but this is a go-to favorite of mine. It is a childhood nostalgic film that I do like to go to every now and again. I will end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking until the end of the video. If you're new here, don't forget to click the subscribe button because I post new videos every week, and also that notification bell to be alarmed, notified of when I post a new video. Comment down below if you have seen any of these films or read any of these books, and whether you like them, not like them, in between, didn't know what you think, indifferent. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!